ECOWAS and the road to the ECO, West Africa's dream of one currency. In West Africa, a major economic transformation is underway. A bold vision that could reshape trade, strengthen regional unity, and redefine monetary independence for over 400 million people. For decades, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has dreamed of creating a single, unified currency for the entire region, a currency that could rival global monetary systems, eliminate borders in trade, and bring African nations closer than ever before. Today, that dream is known as the ECO. To understand the ECO, we must first understand ECOWAS, the Economic Community of West African States. Founded on May 28, 1975, through the Treaty of Lagos, ECOWAS brought together 15 nations from across West Africa. Its mission was clear and ambitious: build a unified economic space, boost trade, strengthen political cooperation, and improve the lives of millions across the region. Over the years, ECOWAS became more than just a trade bloc. It evolved into a stabilizing force, deploying peacekeepers during conflicts, mediating political crises, and pushing for deeper economic integration. From transport networks to energy cooperation, from free movement of people to common market development, ECOWAS positioned itself as the engine of growth and stability in West Africa. But among its many goals, one stood above the rest: creating a single currency that would unite the region economically and politically. The idea of a common West African currency dates back to the late 1980s. Leaders across the region knew that the use of multiple national currencies made cross-border trade expensive and complicated. Imagine a trader moving goods from Nigeria to Ghana or from Sierra Leone to Senegal would have to navigate several exchange rates, fluctuating inflation, and constant currency conversions. The system was inefficient and costly. ECOWAS leaders agreed that a single currency could eliminate these barriers and unlock massive economic potential. However, financial instability, varying inflation rates, political differences, and lack of monetary coordination slowed down the progress. In the year 2000, ECOWAS created a new structure called the West African Monetary Zone, WAMZ. Its members included Nigeria, Ghana, Gambia, Guinea, Liberia, Sierra Leone. These 6 countries did not use the CFA franc and were expected to adopt a single currency first. This would serve as phase 1 of the regional monetary union. The goal was for these countries to harmonize their economic policies, form a joint central bank, and introduce a shared currency, the ECO. Initially, WAMZ planned to launch the ECO in 2003, but due to missed economic criteria, rising inflation, political instability, and fiscal challenges, the launch was postponed multiple times: 2005, 2009, 2015, and then 2020. While WAMZ was struggling to meet monetary requirements, another group of West African countries, members of the West African Economic and Monetary Union, UEMOA, were already sharing a currency, the CFA franc. These countries included Benin, Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Mali, Niger, Senegal, Togo, and Guinea-Bissau. Unlike WAMZ, UEMOA nations had a stable shared currency, but one tied directly to France and backed by the French treasury. For decades, African economists criticized this arrangement, arguing that it limited full monetary independence. In 2020, UEMOA leaders announced a historic decision. They were ready to transition from the CFA franc into the new ECO. This changed everything. For the first time, all 15 ECOWAS nations expressed readiness to move toward a common currency. ECOWAS has now adopted a clear two-phase roadmap for introducing the ECO currency. Phase 1, WAMZ countries: Nigeria, Ghana, Liberia, Gambia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea will be the first to adopt the ECO once they meet the convergence criteria. Phase 2 UEMOA countries will then merge the existing CFA franc with the ECO, creating a unified system across all ECOWAS states. This would grant French-speaking West African nations full monetary and fiscal independence from France, while strengthening regional integration. The target date for this full transition is 2027. The ECO is not simply a new currency. It represents a shift in power, identity, and economic control for West Africans. 1. Boosting regional trade with a single currency. Cross-border trade becomes faster, cheaper, and more efficient. Businesses will no longer spend money on currency exchanges or suffer from unpredictable rate fluctuations. 2. Attracting foreign investment. International investors prefer stable, integrated markets. A unified currency will make West Africa more attractive to global companies, banks, industries, and financiers. 3. Reducing dependence on foreign currencies. Most West African economies rely heavily on the US dollar and the euro. The ECO could shift this balance, giving the region stronger bargaining power in global trade. 4. Strengthening regional unity. A common currency fosters political cooperation and reduces economic conflicts. It encourages shared responsibility and common development goals. 5. Creating jobs and opportunities. A larger unified market increases industrial activity, improves transportation networks, and expands opportunities in manufacturing, technology, and agriculture. For millions of ordinary West Africans, the ECO has the potential to change daily life in several practical ways. For traders and small businesses, no more exchanging currencies across borders. Lower transaction costs, more predictable prices. For families and workers, remittances become easier. Travel across West Africa becomes cheaper. Cross-border jobs become more accessible. For youth and entrepreneurs, startups can expand into multiple countries without currency barriers. Access to regional funding and loans becomes easier. For governments, stronger tax revenue from increased trade, more stable budgets, greater cooperation in fighting corruption and economic crimes. The ECO could truly democratize economic opportunities. Despite the promise of the ECO, the journey is far from easy. To succeed, ECOWAS countries must meet strict convergence criteria, low inflation levels, controlled budget deficits, stable exchange rates, healthy foreign reserves, political instability, coups, terrorism, and uneven economic development also pose real challenges. But ECOWAS remains confident. In its latest summit, the organization reaffirmed the ECO currency must launch by 2027. As 2027 approaches, ECOWAS nations are racing to align monetary policies, strengthen financial institutions, and build the West African Central Bank that will one day issue the ECO. If successful, the ECO could become one of the most influential currencies on the African continent. It could rival the strongest emerging markets. It could rewrite the economic future of West Africa. Above all, it symbolizes a new era of independence, economic independence, political independence, and regional unity. The ECO is more than a currency. It is a vision, a dream nearly half a century old, a dream of a stronger, united, and prosperous West Africa. The road ahead is long, but the destination may finally be within reach. As ECOWAS pushes toward 2027, one thing is clear: West Africa is ready to take control of its economic destiny, and the ECO may be the first step into that future.